Hello everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from an Inner Sphere episode 413. Today we're going to be talking about the Corvis, the 40-ton clan mech that is the daddy of the Stormcrow. You know, this was the mech that was the predecessor to the Stormcrow. You can see a lot of the same looks and design features of the Stormcrow in it, but it's only 40 tons. It is a 464 moving mech, so it does have some mobility for jumping, even though it's pretty slow when it compares to your typical clan mech, which are usually at least 5'8" or 6'9" moving. But yeah, it's a 464. It has endosteel and ferrofibrous armor. It has 7 tons of ferro, which is only 3 points short of maximum. So similar to the Clint 2C with 7 tons, but if the Clint 2C had with ferrofibrous armor, it'd have the same amount. So well protected. Comes in at 1,336 battle value, so it's kind of spendy. Then we have a couple weapon systems on board. We have an Ultra 10 autocannon in the right arm with 4 tons of ammo. So yeah, you got 20 turns of operation just banging away constantly. Probably a little too much, but you know, this is like, if you plan on being around for 20 turns, I seriously doubt you'll be around for 20 turns, but it's like wishful thinking. Then we have 2 medium pulse lasers in the left arm for your in-close work, and then obviously you got jump jets in the left torso and right torso. So yeah, what do I think? Well, once again, it just harkens back to the old thing of throwing heavy autocannons on a medium mech, especially a 40-tonner, when you could probably gone the route of just put a couple ER large lasers instead with some double heat sinks, and you got the same results. Now, gone that route, you know, it'd be the same thing, and you would have gained a lot more range. But you know, when you go out and you look at the weapon system and ultra cannon, at least you know you could reach out and touch somebody to 18. So it's like having a standard PPC, the Inner Sphere design. You go out to 18, do 10 points damage. And if you're rolling 8 or better, you got a good shot of doing 20 points of damage. And really, you don't have to worry about overheating with this mech. You could even take an infernal shot and still be fairly cool, possibly, depending on how many hits you. But you know, you're looking at, if you double pump the autocannon, you got plenty of ammo to go with that thing. You know, 40 shots, why not just double pump it? And that's 6 heat there, and you got 2 medium pulse lasers. Once those get into range, that's going to kick you up to 14. If you run, that's 16. You jump, 18. Okay. So, like I said, if you're just running, yeah, you got a good shot of just taking any type of inferno shot and still be running cool. So that's a good thing. You don't have to worry about that. So every turn you're going to be, once you get all your weapons into range, you're going to be banging away. Now, being a 464, your life expectancy probably isn't all that great, but you know, you could take a few hits. You know, you can take an ERPPC in the right or left torso or the legs or center torso and still be having armor left over. Now, the second shots that come through, that's a different story. But, you know, the nature of the beast when you're playing the game, you never know. Sometimes, what's the average roll you always roll? It's a 7. So that's always the center torso. So you could get cored out pretty quickly, or it could just be spread out. Like Johnny Appleseed, and next thing you know, it's like all your arms and legs are gone, or all the armor there could be toasted, and you're still moving along pretty decently. So it's just a nature of the random beast that may do something to you. But it's one of these mechs that I kind of envision it. Well, what clan was it? Was it Hellhorse? Yeah, Hellhorse are the only ones that still use this thing. So I could see their this almost being a second line mech, running around, as a support. And I could see it being used in conjunction, supporting infantry or vehicles of that nature, that, go that route and doing some decent damage. Yeah, it can pump out, 34 damage at maximum. That's nothing to sneeze about, But, you're going to be cutting the edges. Typically with this mech, you're not going to be going in there and just going right into their face. This one's, once again, it's another one of these mechs that it's going to be close to the front line, but you definitely don't want to get it right up on the front line if you can help it, because it will get taken out pretty quickly. Because I see a mech like this that, that's a 40-tonner and it's right up front. Everybody focus it down and then move on to, eliminate it from the equation pretty quickly. So it's going to be one of those mechs that's going to be hanging back slightly and using that autocannon to hit with, and basically scraping some armor off targets and support. And once things really get heated and you're bunched up, this one will move in and start using those medium pulse lasers to pretty decent effect for you to tear some armor off. And then you're going to be definitely doing the old crit hunting activity if possible. So that's the one thing I foresee how you use this mech. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen one on the table. I just have no memory of ever seeing one of these things. But that's kind of like how I envision it being used for the most part. Now, and let's see, that was, 1336 for the battle value. So it can be filled into slots or some type of scenario if you want to go that route. Or if you have access to some perks or something of that nature. A mech like this, if you had jumping jack, that might actually increase its mobility a little bit. Go that route. Now, there's a second version of this mech. It's still a 464, still armor, still the same. The only thing they did was they got rid of the AC 10, Ultra AC 10, and replaced it with a Hag 20. Now, the Hag 20, that gives you a little bit of more range. You go from 18 to 24, so that's pretty decent. Then they have 2 heavy medium lasers and a target computer. Obviously, the target computer is going to be helping you with the 2 heavy medium lasers. Those only go out to 9, so it's kind of, to me, a slight drawback. Yeah, they how was it, 4 or 3? 3 tons. Yeah, they got 3 tons of ammo to go with that Hag 20. So it can stay operational for a long period of time, but with the target computer on board to offset the heavy medium lasers, you got, 3 tons wrapped up into the target computer, due to the fact that, the Hag and the heavy medium lasers, that's soaking up some tonnage right there. But, in some ways, I think you might have been better off going the route of maybe some ER medium lasers instead, give you some little more range. The heat aspect of this, once again, you're looking at 14, 18. Running would put you at 20. And if you jump, would put you at 22. So, heck, you can jump 2 turns, fire everything, and still be running, halfway decently. You're at the 4 heat level. And then you probably would fire one of the heavy medium lasers to cool off some. So, but the damage output, you're looking at 40 damage output which still isn't that bad. Once again, it's one of those mechs that you can hang back at a distance and, you know, do some decent damage with that Hag 20, even though it's just like getting hit with an LRM 20. In some ways, it's slightly better in some ways because, you know, you got a little bit of extra range, but even though it makes you wonder if a LRM 20 might have been a better deal with it, even though you can take aspects of the target computer to help you out with that. So, which would be one or the other. Yeah, the Hag might be a better way to go. And did I say it's $14.55 for battle value? Well, once again, you're starting to get up there for battle value. It's a little spendy. You know, there might be other mechs out there that will fit the bill a little better. You know, but it still fills the same exact role as the other version, where you definitely are going to be hanging back. This is like a fire support, almost a direct, I'd say, yeah, it's a direct fire support mech. The same way with the other version. Yeah, you're going to be hanging back behind the like I said, I look at it as a second line mech where you got your heavier hitters, your omnis and everything are going to be up front doing the most of the work, and this is going to be in the back supporting and covering the backside and flanks for your better mechs, to be honest, and making sure that someone doesn't come up on you and cause you some issues, get in behind you. So that's their job, is blocker and fire support. And it can do the job pretty decently, I think. You know, it's with that damage output this thing can do. It's not that bad, even though it's slow. Now, I was looking at a little. It's like I looked at one version here. I played around, where this one comes in at 1643 battle value. You got 2 ER medium or 2 RT. I can't even say it. 2 ER large lasers in place of the autocannon. You got 13 double heat sinks and 2 medium pulse lasers and a target computer. So basically, it's like taking the Hag version, but in some ways, and it's kind of making some improvements on it. And you got 12 tons wrapped up into everything. So you still got the 3 tons of target computer, but still, now you got something that can shoot out to 25, you know, do 20 points of damage. Very similar to the Hag. You're just one ton or one hex short. But, you know, it's one of those things where I look at it like, okay, yeah, are you gaining or losing anything? And with the 2 medium pulse lasers for up close, it could be an interesting little build to go with. And then, let's see if I can bring this one up here. Okay, this one had a large pulse laser, 4 medium pulse lasers, and an ER medium laser with a target computer. We went that route. And the damage output could be fairly decent. Yeah, you're looking at 28, 38, 45. And that's pretty decent. Even though the heat output, you still got 10 double heat sinks. But you can work around it. It's one of those things where you have a large pulse laser go out to 20, you got 15 with the ER medium laser, so you kind of, and then once you get into the shorter range where the medium pulse lasers will be your primary system, and then you're looking at throwing in the ER medium or the pulse laser if you feel like heating up or not, and you still got a 464. So there was a few of them that I was looking at. If you wanted to go direct energy, get rid of the ammunition versions of the mech. So something to look at. So overall, I think it's still, once again, you're throwing a lot of tonnage into one weapon system, which is the same problem I have with any type of medium, light or medium mech. You're throwing everything into a heavier system. Even though the AC-20, you can possibly do 20 points of damage, but you got to roll to hit, then you got to make sure the second one hits. So it's a second roll, even though you probably could have been better off with a couple ER large lasers and got the same amount of output, and you're still rolling twice, but it's mentally, that's kind of like how I look at it. And you're gaining a lot more range. So you can sit back and give it that fire support, roll it if you want to. But overall, it's one of those mechs where I can see the uses of it, but it's probably not going to ever be one of those mechs that you will go out of your way to use. I just don't envision. I envision other mechs being more useful in the long run. But overall, I could see it being used. All right, so that's it. This is Hellcrix. I hope you guys have a good one.